How's it going, guys? Val here. Welcome back to Pandora Rising. Today we're going to do a quick look at the brand new unit, which is the Stingbat Caller. So firstly, I'm going to go through her stats, and we're going to talk about all the different stat types she has, and then also some stats that I feel should have been included, but unfortunately are not. So we'll go from top to bottom. Stingbat Caller, type, ground troop, rarity, epic. She is a 5 energy cost unit, and then her health, damage, death damage, hit speed, range, target type, and speed. So obviously this health is her health. This is her basic attack damage. Her death damage, from what I can tell, it's not when she dies. This is actually, it looks like it's when her Stingbats die. They have sort of a little pop animation, but because that damage is so low, it's really hard to figure out who's doing the actual damage on death. Now, her hit speed, swinging at 1 swing per 2.5 seconds. The other part of this is this summons her Stingbats. So every time she uses a basic attack, she's going to summon a Stingbat. Now, the stats that I'm talking about that I feel should have been included were her Stingbat damage and Stingbat health. So I've reached out to the devs and the support team, and if this is incorrect, I will change it in the future. But as of right now, what I believe is her Stingbat damage is equivalent to the Stingbat Swarm health and damage. So my Stingbat Swarm is 1 level lower, but you can see here this is the level 27 stats. So I'm going to go under the educated guess that her summoned Stingbats have 60 health and deal 81.5 damage. So we'll continue on here. Whoops. Her range is 10, so this means she can attack other units within 5 units of her, either in front, above, below, or behind. And then her target type is ground. So this is where it gets a little funny. She summons Stingbats. Well, you would think that she can attack air units. So she can, but she cannot summon a Stingbat against an air unit. So she will only attack ground units and buildings, as well as towers. And if she has a ground target to attack, she will summon her Stingbats, which in turn can deal damage to air units. So again, I feel like some little indication of that was in here. Unfortunately, it's not. That might change, but what can you do? And then speed is average. So her movement speed is average, but like the regular Stingbats, their movement speed is fast. So they are a little bit faster than her. So in terms of unlocking, there is a couple ways to do it. Currently there are 2 events up, one of which is the Saberhog Raid, as well as Daily Goals Challenge. So the Daily Goals Challenge is pretty straightforward. You literally just complete your daily goals, and every day over the next 6 days you'll attain tokens to open chests to get her. Now, something interesting that's been brought to my attention is there's actually 2 different Saberhog events for different players. I'm currently looking into this a bit more. Now, it's almost irrelevant. This event ends in the next day, I believe. So depending on when you're watching this video, that event may not even be available anymore. But I'm going to look into it because this is going to be something we haven't seen before, where a portion of the player base is getting one type of event and the other portion is getting a different event. Now, it includes the same raw resource, but having to attack versus having to just send out commanders to farm is very, very different. So I'm going to do some in-depth looking at the values of each milestone, the reward payouts, the way that the points for each milestone are distributed, and I will give you guys an update in a separate video. And lastly, the other way to attain her, obviously, is in the shop. If you go into your offers, you'll see her here. So let's go look at some footage real quick. We'll talk about different uses for her in combat, and hopefully this will help educate you guys in terms of what kind of things you can do with her, and possibly help you decide, if you're on the fence, about spending a little bit of money to potentially unlock and upgrade her. This first clip is going to be me using my new deck, my AKA Neytiri deck, against a level 40 trial. So I've subbed my Stingbat Caller into this deck, and I find her quite effective in here actually. So you can see I've got 2 pushes going. My Stingbat Caller is currently in the top lane. She's defended up against the champion, and now we've pushed into the opposing tower. I am going to cut that top clip out just to show you how placing her on defense can lead to quite a strong counter push. And you can see I've got more Stingbats bottom. Now that is not from the Stingbat Caller, that is just more Stingbats. Now this trial is very challenging. The first time I did it, I only got 1 star, and I'm actually coming back in here now, having only progressed a little tiny bit further and having it still only at 1 star, just to see if I can do it with this new character, or this new unit. And to my pleasant surprise, yes I can. This new unit is really, really fun, and you can get an absolute ton of value out of her if you're placing her in the right positions, if you're placing her with good units to frontline for her, stuff like the War Beast, the Guardian, the Champion, anything that can really just take a serious butt whooping out in front of her. So we're going to see we're almost done here. That top push is coming in, counterplaying against the Dire Horse Rider. I've actually also subbed in Paradise Needler, and I find that she's very effective with it because she can stand defensively behind it while it sort of targets larger units, and it allows her to build up a big swarm. So we're going to get into some smaller sort of zoomed in cut footage just so we can take a quick peek at her spawn mechanic, her defensive positioning, as well as her death mechanic. So when she dies, she actually spawns more units, which we'll see here shortly. So in the first clip, you're going to see she's pushing up with that War Beast, and this is allowing her to summon a ton of Stingbats. And as long as she has ground units to target, she can just keep summoning more and more and more Stingbats. Keep in mind, if she's pushing into air units, she cannot summon these units. The second clip is going to be a portion of the very first video that we saw, which is actually her defending against the champion. And yes, the champion's hitting our tower, but by him standing there and him not hitting our Stingbat Caller, she's building up a push, and then we're going to drop the War Beast and send them on their way. Or the final clip is going to be her death clip, and you'll see what happens. When she goes down, she actually summons 3 more Stingbats in her place. Now this can be really effective if she dies on your end of the field, but if you die way up front and that's the only thing you've got left, as you can see, they get mowed down pretty quick. Alright, that pretty much sums up the gameplay. My first impression of her is quite positive. I'm really, really enjoying her. Now, things may change in terms of balance and whatnot in the future, but as she stands right now, I find that her energy cost is pretty much on point, and all of her other stats suit her very, very well. Her range, how strong she is, all her summon strength, all that stuff. I hope this video helped you guys out. Hopefully you learned something today, and if you're deciding whether or not you should spend on her, whether it's now, although I think the shop bundles are going to be out by the time this video is posted, or the next time she rolls around. In my opinion, she's very fun. Now, she's not game breaking, but if you want to add another layer of strategy and units to your playstyle, this is definitely a different type of unit. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next video.